Hello students, welcome back to the class. In the last class we have discussed about what are the various forms of regionalism. In this class we will discuss about how the factors, what are the various factors which are mainly responsible for regionalism. Okay, there are few factors which are responsible for regionalism. Why the people are demanding the separate state, why the people are going for the separate independence within the country or outer part of the country. So already in the previous classes we have discussed about the regionalism and its various forms. According to S.R. Maheshwari, what we have discussed that regionalism, regions are nothing but any territory which contain different variables in the form of different degree. The territories which contain different geographical areas, it contain language, customs, religions, culture, tradition. So that territory will be referred to as a region. We have discussed that in the post-independent period there are many demands which are going on to have the separate state, so out of the country. For example, Punjab have made the similar demand out of the country. Similarly, DMK party in the behalf of Tamil Nadu have demanded a separate Tamil state. And also we have discussed that this is one form of regionalism, means one form of regionalism is whenever if you are demanding the separate state out of the country. This is one form. Another form of regionalism is if you are demanding the separate state within the country, then that is the one form of regionalism. So regionalism, any form, either first form or second form, either if you are demanding the separate state out of the country or within the country, this is considered as a region in any form that is very dangerous for the unity in diversity. There are other various forms of regionalism we have discussed. Aggressive regionalism, this is also one form of regionalism, in the last class we have discussed. Okay, so these forms of regionalism, okay, and various organizations are why, and to avoid this regionalism, central government have started Regional Development Council. So central government have set up on the behalf of Parliament Regional Development Council to promote and to protect the interest of all the regions of the particular community. Now we will discuss what are the other factors, what are the main factors which are responsible for all these factors of regionalism. First one, if you see many factors which are contributing the rise of regionalism, there are many factors which are mainly responsible for the rise of regionalism. First one, if you see, there are political, economic and cultural factors. First factor is political factor, second is economic factor, and third one cultural factors. These factors are called as multi-dimension phenomena. This is mainly responsible for the causes of regionalism. So these factors are not only taking place at one stage, in many stages, due to the social condition, due to economic conditions and due to the political condition, there are multi-dimension factors which are mainly responsible for the regionalism. Now regional imbalance we can find, there are still in all the regions cannot be developed equally, there is an imbalance we can find. Okay, for example, best example when you are talking about Maharashtra. So if you see Maharashtra, imagine this is Maharashtra. In Maharashtra also if you see that all the regions were not developed equally. If you compare Mumbai, Mumbai is a city, when compared to Mumbai all the areas were not developed. There are many areas in Maharashtra, but only Mumbai was well developed when compared to all the area. And then Pune, there are few areas, few cities were well developed, but not all. All the areas were not equivalently developed when compared to Mumbai. Similarly, if you see in Telangana, Hyderabad state is well developed. Okay, there are many cities are there in Telangana, but Hyderabad is only the state where we can find there is a rapid development take place. There are many factors which are favorable for the development. So whatever the factors may be, due to geographical condition, due to many areas, due to many factors, all the regions cannot be developed equally. Okay, there are many factors which are responsible to develop the particular city. Similarly, I have said that Mumbai is the only one place which was very greatly developed, maybe because of various factors, because of these cities are lying very close to the sea, these cities are very close to the western Atlantic Ocean where number of developing countries are very high, and these cities are very close to the ethnicity of mining sectors, minerals are lying very close to Mumbai. These cities are having the very favorable climatic condition. they have a very good transport facilities, they have a very good rainfall. So, overall if you see, there are various factors which are mainly responsible to develop the particular region. Okay, there are various factors are mainly responsible to develop the particular region. Similarly, if you see that, but all the regions cannot be developed equally. Whatever the factors, if you are applicable, all the regions have to develop equal. If all the regions will be developed equally, then there will be no regionalism. The concept of regionalism will never arise. But the problem in our country is all the regions are not developing equally in terms of social, economic and cultural, in terms of political, all the regions are not developing, and that is why there is a regional imbalance. And because of this regional imbalance, there is an imbalance in socio-economic development, and this is the main reason which contributes for the rise of regionalism. So, people are saying that regions are highly well developed because the government is taking more care, and that is why the particular region is well developed, but actually that is not like that. The climatic condition, there are many conditions which will be favorable. Okay, if the climatic conditions, favorable conditions will be there, then particular regions automatically will develop. What we have to do is regional development concept, that is why it was set up to promote all the regions equally. That is why the central government have developed a regional development concept to see that all the regions should be developed equally. If all the regions will be developed equally, then these types of sentiment like regionalism, aggressive regionalism, autonomies of states, all these problems will not arise, all the problems will not arise. So, what we have to do is first, due to the regional imbalance is the first factor. So, these regional imbalances are mainly the first factors. Because of this imbalance, okay, this socio-economic development also taking imbalance, and this is the main reason which is contribute for the rise of regionalism. On the other hand, if you see that there is a glaring inequalities we can find. The inequalities are mainly because of per capita income. We know that what is meant by per capita income, already we have seen in the 10th class, the average income which are earned, average income of the person is a per capita income. Average person which are earning the income in 1 year, that is called as per capita income. Per capita income is very important. Okay, these inequalities are getting due to the per capita income. Per capita income should be equal. Next one, literacy rates also plays a very important role. If the higher number of literacy rates will be there will be great development. Such as Kerala, if you see, in Kerala if you see, the resources are less only, but even though because of literacy, the state's per capita income is very high. Whatever the states where the literacy rate is higher, in that state if you see, the per capita income is also very high. Best example I said Kerala, and best example if you see Haryana also. Already we know Haryana and Kerala, the literacy rate is very high. So, that will greatly affect on per capita income of earning also will improve. If the large number of people will be educated, they will get good jobs. If they will get good jobs, they will get good income. If they will get good income, they will get standard of living will improve, and that will support the national income, average income, etc. So, that is why if you say that literacy rate, per capita incomes are related. Next one, industries are very important. If industries are not there, then regional imbalance will form. If industries will be there, that will promote the regional developments. Agriculture development is also a very important thing. Agriculturally, if the particular regions will be well developed, then there will be no regional imbalance. Accessibility of technology is also very important. If they have a technology, a good technology, then also the particular regions can develop. So, in terms of development of region, these all 5 factors are very important, necessary. If these 5 factors are not available, then the regional imbalance will occur. If the regional imbalance will occur, then the rise of regionalism will also starts. Such as first one, if you see the per capita income, okay, the per capita income should be very high, or per capita income should be high. Second one, literacy rate should be strong. The particular states, if the literacy rate is very strong, then that. Next one is industrialization. If you see, if the particular states are well developed in industry, that process is called industrialization. So, that also promotes regional development. Next one, agriculture development. In the particular states, if they are well developed in agriculture, that is termed as agriculture development. Next one, accessibility to technology. Accessibility means I have written fully available. When the technology will be available, then the particular regions will be well developed. Such as best example we have seen Japan. Japan has a good amount of technology. They have no resources, okay, but even though they have well developed, okay, because of accessibility of technology. Fastest bullet train was first started in Japan only. So, because they are very technology, okay, So, technology, if you see that the per capita income will be very high, strong, and the regional inequalities will be less. So, these all factors are very important, that will these are very favorable for the development of regional level. So, these factors are very important. So, children, what we have studied here, we have studied first one, we have studied about there are many factors which are contributing to the rise of regional. Okay, regionalism is mainly started because of many factors. Okay, first one, most of the regions are not developed politically, economic and cultural factors. Political, social and cultural factors are mainly developing the multi-dimension phenomena. Okay, when the politically, economically and socially, whenever the particular regions are not developing, then a sentiment is starting, that is called as regionalism. Regional imbalance can control the social developments, and that contributes for the rise of regionalism. If there is no proper development in the society, if there is a regional imbalance and if there is no proper socio-economic development, so that contributes for the rise of regionalism we can find. Inequalities we can find, children, we are facing number of inequalities, like if there is inequalities, then these factors also contributes for the rise of regionalism. You can find one regions to another region per capita will be quite different. People who live in cities, the per capita income will be different than villages because of accessibility. Second thing, literacy rate, if you see one region to another region, literacy rate is quite different. So, that also can cause regional imbalance. One region to other region, industries availability is also very low. In some regions, industrial facilities are very high. So, agriculture developments such as Punjab and Haryana, they are well developed in agriculture. So, regionally they are highly well developed. But some places like Odisha, okay, so there are some places like Bihar, agriculturally they are not well developing. So, that is also mainly contribute for regional imbalance. Accessibility to technology. So, some regions are poor, they are not availability of technology is not sufficient or not there. Whenever the technology is not available to the particular region, then regional imbalance will form, and that regional imbalance can cause to the regionalism. So, that is why what we have to do is, first we have to develop all the regions equally. Whenever all the regions will be developed equally, then these types of sentiment like regionalism will be stopped. They cannot make differences with other region. People cannot make when all the regions are equal. When the difference will start, when the particular regions is not developing, their region is not developing, and the other regions are highly well developed, then they will compare their region with other regions. So, similarly, when all the regions are developing equally, then nobody will make comparison, and that type of sentiments like the rise of regionalism will not start. So, this is the main topic, children. We are learning about the factors that are responsible for the rise of regionalism. So, what is the first factor? We have seen that inequalities. Because of these inequalities, there is a great imbalance in regional level. So, if there is inequalities in per capita income, if there is an inequality in literacy rate, if there is inequalities in industrialization, if there is an inequalities in agriculture development and availability of technology, are mainly responsible for regionalism. So, we will meet you in the next class, children, with a new topic. Thank you very much.